And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gents. This is your boy Casanova from Orlando, Florida, on this awesome and international podcast, Good Wine and Great Laughs. The podcast for wine lovers, ladies and gents, summer movies review and hot topic discussion. I'm your host, Casanova, and every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. I have the wine of the day, ladies and gents, followed by the topic of the day. The topic of the day is always a topic that can affect our lives directly or indirectly. And during the summer movies of June and July, I take a break of hot topics and I do summer movies reviews, such as movies that come out on the movie theaters or is a brand new movie on any platform such as Netflix, Amazon Prime, Apple TV, and so forth. I select some movies, I watch it, and I give you my review. So if you like the wine, if you like wine, if you like hot topic discussions, and if you like summer movie review, this YouTube channel is for you. If you like the work that I do, ladies and gents, I just ask for three simple things. Subscribe to this channel, share any video that I watch with at least 5 people and ladies and gents, and click on the like button. There's only three things that I ask for you to support this YouTube channel. Okay, ladies and gents? So, before I start talking about topic of the day, ladies and gents, I gotta talk the one of the day. But today is Saturday, February the 7th, 2026, and the weather here in Orlando is going to be sunny. Sunny all day until the sun goes down, I guess. Highs of 68 and lows of 41 degrees, ladies and gents. So let's talk about the wine of the day. I have the PIPA here, ladies and gents, another wine from Portugal. I did have the red wine first. Now I got the white wine, and let's see what this wine that PIPA is all about. It says right here, the PIPA white wine. It's a Portuguese white grapes. As for food pairing, say pasta, salads, seafood, poultry, and pork meats. So how to conserve the wine? Always make sure that if your house is laid down. I have 3 wine racks in my house, so I always store the correct way. And constantly temperature about 46 Fahrenheit or 8 Celsius. Alcohol percent of this wine is 12%, ladies and gents, per volume. So let's see what's the PIPA, the white wine, is all about. And once again, ladies and gents, the picture of this wine bottle is going to be available on all my social medias. Instagram, Facebook page, TikTok, all this good stuff. Fan base, the picture is going to be available for you over there. All right. Okie dokie, ladies and gents. Okay, very crispy. I like the bouquet of this wine. It is a very good wine, ladies, and definitely higher level citrus flavor on your back of palate. A little bit of acidity to me, but not that bad at all. I definitely give a 9 to the PIPA, the white wine, ladies and gents. Once again, the picture is going to be available on all my social medias. If you like to look at the picture and take with you the screenshot and take with you to find out. And if you did any of the wines that I present here, and if you like it, please come back to this YouTube channel, make a comment, and let me know what you think about the wine of the day. All right, ladies and gents. So, since you now celebrate the Black History Month, for us that are Black, is History Month every month. Not only February, every day of our lives is Black History Month as far as I am concerned. But since we celebrate this in this United States of America, I'm going to have now, I have this video here. They're going to watch this awesome video from, give credit to the Wilmington Library. It's a conversation with Marla Gibbs. If you do not recognize it's no exactly, look at the thumbnail, you know exactly what I'm talking about. All right, so let's watch this conversation with Marla Gibbs celebrating the Black History Month. And once the conversation is over, I will give you my 2 cents. All right, it is showtime.
Last night a DJ saved my life from a broken heart. Last night a DJ saved my life. Last night a DJ saved my life with a song. Last night a DJ saved my life. Last night
Hey, how are you guys doing? Well, thank you all for weathering the cool weather and coming out. We've got a fun-filled night in store for you. We've got some delightful people here. I have the distinct privilege of introducing our moderator, Miss Rhonda Crowder. She's a champion of literacy. She's a retired corporate executive. She's been a very resolute and staunch library supporter. She's supported all of our initiatives and efforts, and so we are delighted that she's here. And so she's also 100% Detroit, so don't let the elegance fool you. I would not pick a fight with her. So with further ado, I'd like to introduce Miss Rhonda Crowder.
Showtime.
And so we have a special kind of surprise for you. So I'm going to show a clip. We have another surviving cast member of the Jeffersons. So I'm going to show a quick clip. Hey, Dennis. Hey, we need sound.
Yeah, well, now you got it. You one of them. You ain't one of us. I mean, when was the last time you was uptown? When was the last time you sat on the stoop at 2 in the morning
with DJ Amar?
Over there, well, let's go.
We were trying to give you a chance to work at a job to make something of yourself.
Yeah, Marvin, that's what I don't understand. Why you don't understand? You the man. I'm the man. You heard what I said, Jack. How you doing? Woo!
All right, everybody. Woo! What day is this? I thought this was, it seems like a weekend, but y'all ready to party, huh? I'm looking up there and I'm seeing me talk, but I see nothing but the what's his name? The DJ doing his thing. Okay.
We were trying to give you a chance to work at a job to make something of yourself.
Oh, now it comes on.
I don't understand why you don't understand.
That was a long time ago, but that was.
You heard what I said, Jack. Oh, you pass around looking black and acting black, but you ain't nothing but the man. I'm the man. Well, look, boy. I busted my tail for everything I got. Yeah, well, now you got it, and you one of them. You ain't one of us. I mean, when was the last time you was uptown? When was the last time you sat on the stoop till 2 in the morning because it was too hot to sit inside? When was the last time you opened your refrigerator and wondered where your next meal was coming from? You ain't one of us.
Don't you tell us about being poor. When George and I were first married, we lived on mayonnaise sandwiches.
Yeah, without bread.
Thank you. You know, that was really, that was one of my first shows. That was the show that introduced me as Marcus. The first time that I was on the Jefferson, I played another character named Jason King. And when all of a sudden, they called my agent and said that they wanted to give you a series. And I looked on the script, and I didn't see anything that said Jason. I thought they were starting me off really small. They said, no, Marcus, you got a lot of work to do. And I realized that Marcus was on every page. So I'm just saying, be careful what you ask for. You just might get it. But the rest is history. I did the show for 3 years after that, and I enjoyed that. That was probably one of my favorite ones because I got to work with the great Sherman Hemsley, and God rest his soul. He was a great Broadway actor, and so I'm really, I was blessed.
So Wilmington, Delaware, we have another guest. Miss Marla Gibbs. You know her. Feisty Florence. Mary Jenkins. She's going to sit right here. You know her as the Feisty Florence. You know her as Mary Jenkins, the loving, witty neighbor of 227, right? She is our television icon, our cultural treasure. She is ours. She made us laugh. She inspired. She empowered. Wit, wisdom. You can't buy it. You can't even borrow it. So Wilmington, I'm asking you to give her the welcome she deserves. Get on your feet. This is our living legend,
Absolutely.
Marla Gibbs.
Well, hello, Wilmington. Lord, if we had had a library like this in Chicago, all the kids would have been in the library.
Well, listen, Miss Marla, we are here for a good time, not a long time, so we're going to get right into it. Is that okay with you?
All right.
Is that okay with you, Ernest? All right, let's do it. So Miss Marla has packed a whole lot of living, learning, and loving in 9 decades. So there's a lot to unpack. So, Miss Marla, we're going to start at the beginning. You grew up on the south side of Chicago. You spent some time in my hometown, the 313 Detroit. Okay? And Detroit was really a launch pad, the Motown of stardom for singers. And you've always mentioned that music was so close to your heart. It was your first love. So I'm just curious as to all the ties with music. What ultimately led you to focus on acting versus pursuing a full-time career in music?
Okay, I didn't get that last part.
You focused on acting instead of music, but your heart sings. You are a singer. So what led you to pursue acting versus singing?
Well, I didn't see anything going on with acting in Detroit or Chicago. I'm sure it was, but I didn't know where it was. But I love jazz, which
That's
is
right.
why I opened a jazz supper club.
That's right. That's right. In central LA, right? Was that where your jazz club was in LA?
Say it again.
LA. That was where your jazz club was, correct?
Martin Luther King Boulevard.
Okay. All right. All right. And so you decided you were going to pursue acting, but it wasn't a straight path for you, right? So you moved from Chicago to Detroit to LA in the early 60s. But it was,
no.
when did you move?
Moved to Detroit in 56.
Okay, and then you moved.
5,
Yeah. And then you moved to LA, right?
69.
69. When did you get your first break in acting?
About 71.
71. So quite a bit of time in between, and you passed that time by working. You worked at United Airlines, is that right?
I worked for United.
United,
You
okay.
had to call me to make a reservation.
Okay.
And I had to tell you what time it was, what time it left, and what time you got there.
So during that time, we know that there weren't a lot of people that looked like you and I on television. The blacks, the browns, the women. So what kind of challenges did you face?
Lord, it's different now. You can't turn the TV on without seeing us.
That's right. Right. But back then it was really different. So how did you overcome those barriers? What did you do to land your big break? What did you do?
I didn't think it was a big break. It was just an opportunity.
Okay.
But turned out to be a big, big break.
So when you landed the role of Florence, you still were working at United, right?
Oh, yeah. A bird in the hand is worth 20 in the bush.
Miss Marla, I'm going to get you to say that again because we got some young people in the back. They need to understand what that means.
A bird in the hand is worth 20 in the bush. When I got the job on the Jefferson, I had been at United for 10 years. My daughter was in college, so we got an opportunity to fly free. So we had passes, and I wasn't giving up my passes until this TV thing was something new. I didn't know where it was going, so I didn't let go of my job. So I figured out I was working part-time at United at that time. I could get off one and go to the other. So that's what I did. And then one day, the girl who worked midnights was coming late a couple of times, so they asked me to stay over. So then I said, well, why don't you let me work an hour, come in an hour later, and I'll be here when she gets here. So they said, okay. So that's what we did. So I ended up working to midnight, so we didn't have to worry about her being there. And then after I was there for about 2 years, one of the producers asked me, do you still have that job? I said, yes. He said, we thought you quit. I said, you ain't told me nothing to make me quit. You have something to tell me? So he said, well, would you take a leave? I said, if you pay me.
That's right,
So
you gotta pay.
I took a 90-day leave. Then I had to tell him how much I made. Then I said, oh, I can't tell him how much I made. But I did. And I ended up taking 90 days. And then I said, well, I can only go as far as one leg stretches. I have to take both legs with me, so I will have to let United go. So I did talk to United to see if they would let me maybe do some PR for them or some what do you call it? You don't know what you call it, because if I don't know what you call it. Anyway, I decided I had to take a chance. So I did, and I'm very happy that I did.
That's right. That's right. So, Miss Marla and Mr. Ernest, you might say that both of your big breaks came with the Jeffersons. And what we know about the Jeffersons is that it is historic, it was groundbreaking, 11 seasons, 253 episodes promoting and showcasing the Black experience. It was unprecedented. All right.
And it's still running.
And it's
Right.
still running. So, Mr. Ernest, you joined the cast later. You joined in what, season 3?
I think it was season 3. How I joined the cast was they had a Lionel who was originally the first person, I guess, to be involved in the show. Then they got him a family. And for some reason, he had some differences with the Norman Lear, who produced the show. Norman Lear, I think because he helped create that show as well as Good Times, and people don't know that. But so he had some difficulty. And so he left the show and then brought in another guy. His name was Damon Evans. The first one was Mike Evans, and then they brought in Damon Evans. And Damon Evans, too, he ended up having some problems. He was, and I think he wanted to sing or something and do opera. And that just didn't fit with the Jeffersons. It just didn't fit. They didn't think it fit. And he was really upset about that and huffed out a couple of rehearsals. And that's when they brought me in to just have that third young character there. But I did see some of the strife that was happening between Damon and the producers. And I think one of the shows that he was about to tape, he didn't show up until like toward the end. They didn't know where he was. And from what I hear, talking to some of the producers today, they said that was it. So I became the third. They wanted to keep the youth in the family, so I was the third character, and I became Marcus. And I was working at a help center, something Louise and me were working together, and she introduced me to George, and so that's how I started to work in the cleaners with him, and it turned out to be. My career was weird. I started off after graduating Michigan State University.
Spartan.
I'm from Detroit, and it's funny that nobody knows this, but when I was in high school, I met a guy. His name was Fred Cuthrell, and I was in the theater department in high school. I always was involved in theater or being in the plays and all of that. And he just he says, "Hey man, come to my side of the town." And I started hanging out with him. He had been kicked out of so many schools. He finally got the hours they let him stay for some reason. But we became friends. And he took me over and introduced me to some of the people on his side of town, and Marla was one of them. Marla and her family. I knew Marla in high school.
That is amazing.
Right.
That is amazing.
But I got to tell you this. Marla, she still is beautiful, but she was fine.
Yes. Well, Miss Marla was fine as Florence. And what we want to know from Miss Marla is, how did you come to land your audition? How did you land your audition for the Jeffersons? Wilmington, you want to know how she did it? Yeah, they want to know how you landed your audition to become Florence. We need her mic.
This is better mic. Okay. I look at the character and I try to decide if the character's making sense with what she's saying and what she's doing, and if I believe her, and then I go out for it. And so far it's worked. But I think that's what you have to do. You have to take your coat off and put the other character's coat on and become her. And you have to decide why she does things, or give her a reason, and then she makes sense. And she'll make sense to everybody else if she makes sense to you. So I hope I made sense.
And I'm going to get this one. So, Miss Marla, did you have any idea when you became Florence the impact that she would have on the audiences as well as your career?
No way. No, it was very difficult for me. And for everybody who was working with me, because I had felt like we have a rhythm. Black people have a rhythm. Jewish people have a rhythm. Asian people have a rhythm. And if you're sitting on the bus and somebody behind you is speaking Spanish, but not the way you've always heard it, you will turn around and look at them. But if they sound like people always sound, you won't turn around. We all have an idea of what we think it sounds like. So when I came to the Jeffersons, when we got through reading it, we sit at the table and we read the script. And after reading, the actors get up and go somewhere, and the director and the producers stay at the table and they discuss what went on with the scene. So I didn't go with the actors, I stayed at the table. So the actors couldn't understand what was wrong with me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so when I left the table, they said, if there's something wrong, they'll see it. I said, yeah, but I've never heard anybody say it was poor writing or poor directing. They say she can't act.
Right.
They're not going to say that about me.
That's right.
So, nobody asked me to leave the table. I guess because it was a new show and they didn't want to hurt my feelings. But after a while, I started interrupting. Excuse me. Black people don't talk like that.
Yeah.
I said, we don't punch things. Jewish people tend to punch things. So we don't do that. My grandmother says the whole thing in one sentence. If you don't sit down, we'll knock you into next week. I said, everybody knows what she said because they know how we talk. And so they started listening to me. And then after that, they let everybody sit at the table with them. And they listened to everybody's opinion, which I was very happy with, because how you going to write something for me and you don't ask me anything?
That's right.
You got to know how I feel. So that's what happened with the Jeffersons. And
So, Miss Marla.
And after a while, everybody got used to my mouth.
That's
my
right.
director would say, we know it don't fit your rhythm.
Right. So, Miss Marla, your rhythm, let's talk about that for a little bit. The banter between your character, Florence, and George Jefferson, played by Sherman Hemsley, was so natural, so real, that we didn't know if a fight was going to break out. So with the writers, was that dynamic between the two of you scripted? Was it organic and you were improvising? How did that happen?
I think it was more organic.
Okay. All right, that makes sense.
And when we first had a rehearsal and Sherman spoke, I said, is that all he's going to give me? Cameras came on, child, that whole nother person showed up.
Okay.
I said, oh, okay. So sometimes Sherman would come in, he said, Marla, I don't know my lines. I said, yes, you do. No, I didn't study last night. I said, it doesn't matter. I said, when you first saw them, your mind took a picture. They're in there. They can't come out because you keep saying you don't know them. I said, when I get through talking, say something that makes sense, And then I would respond to you.
Okay.
So that's what we did.
Okay.
And
Okay.
he was great to work with.
Sherman, okay.
Delighted in setting me up so I could hit him.
But, and you throw a mean punch. You hit him. You hit him. But you also had the same kind of relationship with Mother Jefferson. She was played by the legendary Zara Culley. She was on the show from 75 to her passing in 78. But there was what I would call playful tension between you and Mother Jefferson. The woman terrified me. I mean, she gave new meaning to the word monster-in-law. That's what I thought whenever I saw Mother Jefferson. Tell me about your relationship with her.
I love Mother Jefferson. She came in and she showed me when she started acting, she was called Dame Zara Culley.
Wow.
And she had all these pictures that she took with the cast that she was working with. And I was very excited about her career.
Good. And were you friends off screen as well? Did you spend time with her outside of the set?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she was a doll. Not for Louise, but she was a doll for me.
Yeah. She did not like Miss Wheezy at all. That was very clear. So Norman Lear, we have to talk about him. Visionary, transformational, the mastermind behind American sitcom when no one else would pick us up. He gave us All in the Family, Good Times, Sanford and Son, and Maude. And he gave us Florence Johnston. So I want to know about your... That's right. I want to know about your relationship with... Well, he gave you two, and you're going to have the opportunity to talk about him. I want to know about your relationship with Norman Lear, because I know you all had a very special relationship.
When I first met Norman, I was impressed. And we were doing the show once, and we were having a problem. And Norman Lear was in the hall, and I went in the hall, and I said, "Excuse me." I said, "You don't come to our show anymore." He said, "You guys don't need me." He said, "Why? You want me to come?" I said, "Yeah, I want you to come." So I went back into the set, and the director said, "Norman is coming." Who invited him? Marla. But he solved the problem. We went on.
That's right. Mr. Ernest, you don't have to tell me about your relationship. How are you cast?
Well, like I said, like I was explaining at first, I was cast as Jason King, and then all of a sudden they told me that I would have a on-air screen test. Normally when they take a screen test, they take, CBS or whatever, they take you and screen test privately. But he said, you'll be on the air. And if you fail, that's it. And so I went home and I studied. I don't think I went to sleep that week. I thought sleep was overrated. And I studied, and I remember going through that script, and it was a lot to it. And I remember Marla and all the cast members was like, "All right, come on now, you can do it. Get through this." I guess they were really, they didn't know if I could do it, but as it turned out, I did the show for 3 years. I came on, and my mother said, "Finally, you're on that," because we had a picture in our house like they had in the Jefferson living room. And she said, "Finally, you're with the show that I love so much." And the black people just love that show. I'll tell you a real quick story, real quick. And when I was working, I didn't pay attention because we were working kind of hard. We were working all week, and one of the shows came out. And I didn't think about that aspect of it, that how powerful the Jeffersons was. So when I finally, we had they call hiatus. We had a little break. And so I decided to go back to Detroit, where I'm from, as on the hiatus. So we had a stopover in Chicago. And what happened is I got off the plane and I started walking, and I saw all these black people running toward me. And I started running, because when black people start running, I'm running too. Where we running from? I don't know. I asked that question later. And I said, so what are we running from? And I asked the brother, what are we running from? And he said, we want your autograph. And I said, oh. And that's how fame hit me like a ton of bricks. I had no clue. And I said, oh, okay. Yeah. And so, it was up from there. I just didn't realize how powerful being on the Jeffersons was.
So the Jeffersons was super progressive, I would say, for their time, right? They tackled sexism, racism, homophobia, alcoholism. They covered all the isms, okay? And so I think we have to address the elephant in the room. George Jefferson, yep, we have to. George Jefferson had this undeniable swagger, right? But he also had what I would say he was easily triggered, right? He had a razor-sharp tongue, and he used provocative language, the H word, the N word, the S word, all the words. Let's just say he covered all the words. And so we would like to better understand, how did the producers and network navigate during that time when saying the N word on television would absolutely get you censored and canceled? How did you all manage that? Was there any fallout as a result?
Well, no. Actually, I have to give credit to the writers. We didn't do it like we should have. But the writers came up with those things, and we were concerned about saying them. But we did say everything they told us to. And after a while, it made sense, and the people liked it. Now, I must say, when Ernest first came, our introduction was him. He came in, well, all right.
Right, that's right.
That was his thing coming in.
That's right, his trademark. So just in every family, there's a favorite, and I certainly have my favorite in terms of my favorite episode, and that will always be Kissed by Billy D. Right? So can we take a look? Can you tee up Kissed by Billy D so we can have a little clip of that? Yeah.
Florence, will you stop talking crazy?
Oh, it's about time you knew the truth, Miss Jefferson. This turkey ain't Billy D. Williams.
Florence, what the hell are you talking about?
Oh, don't act so innocent, Shorty. I know all about that famous doubles agency.
Florence, what are you talking about?
I mean, this dude is a good likeness, and he's handsome and all that, but he can't fool Billy D. Williams' #1 fan. I don't know who that is. I just know who it ain't.
Well, whoever it ain't, he dropped his wallet in the back seat of the limousine. The driver gave it to me, and I brought it right up immediately.
Thanks, brother. This yours?
Yes, thank you very much.
Oh, no, you don't. Now we'll just find out who you are, Mr.
Do you want my arm to fall off?
What'd you say?
Do you want my arm to fall off?
That's like sitting down right when he first saw it. Lady sings the blues.
Yeah, I got another one right.
It's Billy D. Williams. The real Billy D. Williams.
I'm afraid so, yes.
Well,
Now that we got that all settled, let's get on before it gets late.
Wait, you can't take it now. Wait a minute, Billy. I'm going to put on my blue dress. I'll be right back. It just take me a minute. Don't leave me now.
Florence, I really have to go. But, thank you for being my number one fan. Ciao, Bella.
So, Miss Marla,
That became a classic.
tell us what it was really like to be kissed by Billy D.
But I tell you, that was something that the director and Billy made up. I had no idea that was happening.
Damn.
But it was nice.
It was what was your favorite episode of The Jeffersons, and why did it resonate with you? This was one of them?
That was one of them. And another one was when I was supposed to be a proper maid. And I came in, but they were afraid that the public would be upset because it looked like I was putting down the people who had gone through the slavery and through being maids, because I was doing a child that I can't think of her name now. I was copying one of the maids from one of the old movies, and so we never did explore it.
Okay. So the range of storylines really varied, because not every episode left us feeling like we had been kissed by Billy D, right? So there was one episode that caused a lot of controversy, and I'm talking about the episode where George mistakenly attends a meeting, and it turns out that he's there at the KKK recruitment meeting. So if we can tee that one up, just a short clip.
Hey, sorry I'm late. Now we get down to business. Go right ahead.
What are you doing here?
I'm on your side. I'm behind you 100%.
I find that hard to believe. We're trying to get the scum out of this building.
Right on, bro.
I can't believe this.
Oh, I told you this little guy is dynamite. You tell him, George.
No. You listen to these guys because they are talking my language.
You've got to get people like that out of here.
Damn right we got to get people like that out of here. And the only way we're going to do it is by joining together.
We're not joining anything. This happens to be a KKK meeting.
You bet it is. And everybody in here is proud to be part of the K. What?
The scum we're trying to get out of this building is you, boy.
Boy.
We are dedicated to white supremacy, but not through violence.
Oh, that's all you bigots have ever taught is violence.
Tom, that's the old Klan, not the new Klan.
Look, garbage, it still stinks no matter how fresh it is.
Good one, Mr. J.
Okay, you want to talk about garbage? I'll tell you what's garbage. The people on welfare living off white people's money, that's garbage. The people who are robbing white stores, tearing down white schools, there's your garbage, mister. You and your kind, you personify garbage.
None of that is true. You just hope by saying it enough times people will begin to believe it.
You don't know what you're talking about, Tom.
Oh, really? Well, for your information, I happen to be married to a black woman, and I don't have to
sir,
stand
you are a black man. Now get out of here.
And take that foreigner and your nigger-loving friend here with you.
Oh, that's enough. Hold it right there. It's one thing hearing it from you, but when you start feeding that trash to your kid.
My son knows the truth and isn't afraid to speak it. Now, we'd appreciate it if you'd leave, because we don't like talking to Negroes.
Don't worry, you don't have to do no talk with my fist shoved down your throat.
And you call me violent? Well, you're living proof that white is right, that we are superior, that white supremacy is the salvation of this country.
All right, so we have a little bit to unpack there, right? So that was 1981. We're sitting here in 2024 in the aftermath of November 6th. And I am thinking about that taping. I'm thinking about your iconic line, "How come we overcame and no one told me?" Right? And I want to know, how are you feeling? What would your character, with the current political landscape we're in, what might your character, Florence and Marcus, think about where we are today? And given where we've been not too long ago.
How come we overcame and nobody told me? You know, when I said that line, I was really sincere about it. And I wanted you to know why nobody told me. So it was the end of the scene, and everybody started hugging. But I'm still waiting for an answer. And they started hunching me like, it's over. Ain't nobody told me nothing yet. So no. I seriously took control of my lines. And when I said nobody told me, I wanted to know why nobody told me. And they're saying it's just a line, but no, it's not. They came to me around the third season, and they said, Marla, we think this might be our last season. So they wanted to do a spinoff, and they wanted me to do it, and I said no. They said, what do you mean? I said, this show is on, and people love this show. I said, but you keep moving us. If you stop moving us, put us in one spot and leave us, everybody, you'll find everybody loves the show. So they decided to put us on Sunday night, and we shot up to the top 10. And so I didn't have to argue. I'd rather be number 9 on a hit than number 1 on a flop.
That's right.
So that's what I told them.
Okay.
I'd rather be number 9 on a hit. I'm not anxious to lead up nothing. I'm happy here, being number 9.
That's right.
And so they didn't bother me again for another 2 or 3 years.
Okay. I understand.
And then I turned that one down. Because if I don't believe in it, I'm not going to do it.
That's right.
I tell somebody, when they could give you a show, do you know what you're doing? Do you want to do that? Do you believe that? If not, don't do it, because it's not going to work. I told Jack A. that in 227. I said, you're going to get a show. I said, you're going to get a spinoff. I said, but don't go until you know what you want to do. But she didn't listen. So they showed one show, and then they took it off. So I told her, I'm sorry that they took the show off, but they should have given you at least 4 so we could find you. You know? Somebody will say she's on, then that's got to go around, and finally, by the time you get to the 4th show, everybody knows you. So, but that's important to know what you want to do, and to believe it. If you give me a show and I don't believe what I'm saying, I'm not going to do it.
I want to talk about, because you talk about believing in the show, I want to talk about 227. Okay? So there are certain songs that have become cultural anthems, right? And I'm not singing anywhere but in my shower. So Wilmington, you're going to help me out. I'm going to give you a lyric. You can give me the next and tell me the show. Temporary layoffs. Easy credit ripoffs. How about this one? Fish don't fry in the kitchen. Took a whole lot of trying. Now we're up in the big leagues. What comes next? All right, you all done took it to a whole nother level. I'm getting ready to get Miss Marla to help us here on this next one. You ready, Miss Marla?
Yeah.
All right. With your family around you. What's next?
There's no place like home. With your family around you, you're never alone. When you know that you love, you don't need to roam, 'cause there ain't no place like that, I believe. There ain't no place like that. There ain't no place like, there's no place like home. Woo! I mean, no place, child.
She did not charge us extra for the singing part, just so you know. So, Miss Marla, you were one of the first black women to have significant creative control on the sitcom 227. You were not just performing, you were writing the narrative, you were casting the members, you were ensuring that the show remained true to the culture. And I want to know, how do you feel? How do you feel your work influenced other black filmmakers, and particularly black women, in encouraging them to share their stories?
Well, you know, God has a way. We never know what's going to happen, but God is in control of it. And there's no mistakes. Things happen the way they're supposed to happen, even when we don't like it. So, what was my point?
You absolutely made it, Miss Marla. I want to talk about, this was the first time, was this the first time you and your daughter worked on a production?
This was a play.
Mm-hmm.
The play was 227 by Christine Houston from Chicago.
Okay.
And Hal Williams was already in the play. The director and my daughter, who was producing the play, asked me to be in the play. So I said, okay. And when we got to do the show, Regina King was in the play also as a little girl that bugged me down the street. And another girl was in the play, Sonia, who played my daughter. But when we went to do the show, Sonia was a little older, and they wanted someone younger. So I said, well, I said that Regina looks like Hal. They could be father and son and daughter, because they both have sandy hair and they both have light eyes. So I fought for Regina and I got her. Thank you. And then Jackie came in to do an audition, and she came in to play Rose, my partner on the stoop. And then she asked, she said, can I read for Sandra? We said yes. So she did. And I said, no, that's Sandra. They said, no, the network wants someone else. They wanted Shirley Lee Ralph. And I love Cheryl, and I loved her from Dream Girls on. But I said, nobody will believe she lives in this building. She doesn't have that kind of situation. You know, she's a little more sophisticated, which you can see on elementary, Abbott Elementary. And so I fought for, they said the network wants it. I said, I don't care, I want her. She came, she was a little overweight, Her hair was short, and she was doing Mae West. So she was hysterical. So they ended up saying, okay, we're going to hire her. But we're only going to give her 7 out of 13 because she's over the top. I said, whatever. She did every show.
Oh, wow.
Every show. I consider her the breakout character for 227. And I knew she was going to get a spinoff, you know, which is what I tell her. I never told her that I hired her. Because I don't want people to feel like they owe me something, you know.
You're indebted.
So I never let her know that I hired her.
Okay.
Which is why she plucked my nerves. For the first 2 or 3 years. But by the time I did Days of Our Lives, I played her mom. We were in the makeup room and she apologized to me for how she acted on 227. I said, isn't that nice? But we've done 2 or 3 things since then.
Okay. I want to ask you, I want to go back to Regina King because I remember seeing her on the show and she had the perfect mushroom and straight bang. I mean, like no hair was out of place. She was barely a teenager on the show. Do you still keep in touch with her? How often are you talking? Does she come to you for advice?
We stay in touch with each other. I call her my daughter. She calls me her other mother. She's wonderful.
Okay. And your relationship with your on-screen husband, how do you think that, seeing a Black, loving, committed couple on television at that time was unusual? I'll say that.
Well, when I was trying to sell 227, Roy Campanella Jr., whose father was he had a famous father.
Baseball.
Roy Campanella Sr. But anyway, Christine had given him the rights, and my daughter wanted me to have the rights. So Christine decided she'd give them to both of us. So he had a deal with Columbia Pictures, so I agreed to go over to Columbia with him, although the president of NBC had been at the show. He came to the play. And I didn't know who he was, so I just came out and said, oh, thank you for coming, and left. They probably thought I was crazy.
Yeah.
I was not, dissing him. I just didn't know who he was. And so meantime, they never said anything about the show, so I went over to Columbia, and we're talking, and the man who was supposed to be exec producer, I told him I want Christine Houston to be in the play, be in the show, as a writer or whatever, be on the show. So he said, I work alone. So I said, okay. So we got outside. I said, he will be working alone because he will not be working on 227. So in the meantime, I'm still doing the Jeffersons. And Norman Lear sees me on the lot. He said, I hear you have a great play over there. Well, I had invited him first, but he didn't come. So I said, I am. I said, we do have a good play. He said, well, I want to come. I said, well, you better come tomorrow because we're closing. So he came. He brought his wife. He brought some of the staff. And they had to sit way in the back because we were packed. So at the end of the play, he said, well, what are you doing? I said, well, I'm talking to Columbia. He said, have you signed anything? I said, no, they haven't got around to talk about no money, so no, we haven't signed anything. He said, well, why don't you and I do it? I said, okay. So what turned out was there were 2 other Black writers on his staff, and I guess they had a meeting or something. They didn't invite me. So why don't you and I do it turned into him and them doing it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't agree. There was 2 black writers. I loved them, but they didn't want to do anything I wanted to do. I said, I would not do a show without a black man. I said, people in America want to know, why don't they let you have a man? I said, so I would not do a show. I've been in the 11th season. I've been single.
Mm-hmm.
I
That's
said,
right.
nah, I don't have to have him right in the beginning, but I better get him
For the
go
end. For the end.
before it lasts too long. So they said, we don't see any reason for Lester to be in the show.
Oh.
I said, okay. And I said, and not only do I have a black man, I said, I want the show to be in L.A. so we sit on the stoop.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't win that one.
Okay. Well, 1 out of 2.
I said, I would
isn't
not
bad.
own the building under any circumstance. The network wants her to own the building. I don't care. I would not own the building under any circumstances. I said, my romance with the people is that I am one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I said, if you give me the building, that'll make me a have.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that means, and I'm not willing to find out.
Okay.
So then Norman looked at me and said, I should have had you at that meeting. I thought you said you and I were doing the show.
Right.
So then I said, all I wanted you to do was just be a producer. So talk to me, in other words.
Mm-hmm.
I said, why don't you want me to be a producer? He said, well, because we were up to 1 or 2 in the morning, and you guys on stage, and we're in the background doing. I said, I'm willing to do all of that. 15 minutes later, we were still at that point. I said, listen, thank you for the meeting. And I went immediately to the attorney, and I said, which was his attorney, and I said, now I want to be exec producer.
Okay.
He said, they're not going to let you do that. I said, okay, then I'm not going to do the show. So 15 minutes later, when he realized I was not going to change my mind, he said, wait a minute. Do you want to be exec producer for the show off, or do you want to do the work? I said, I want to do the work. That if I get you all rights, courtesies, and privileges of exec producer, would you take it? I said, yeah. So I took it. Now, I don't believe that ever was a deal for me to do that, because nobody acted like I was exec producer. They all wondered, what the hell was I doing? Why is she doing that? Why is she doing that? But I kept on.
That's right. And the rest, as they say, is history. Right. So let's give her a hand for that.
But you never know. God has your back. God got your back, got your front, and got your sides.
That's right.
So,
well, there's been a lot of people that has had your front, your back, and your sides, and I want to talk about one in particular. What's so amazing about Miss Marla is that her career spans across generations, across genres, from drama to comedy to horror to even voiceovers. But I want to understand better, because you've worked with a lot of iconic names in your career. But now I understand that you are collaborating with none other than the Snoop D-O-double-G, okay? Snoop Dogg, the dog father himself. So Wilmington wants to know, how does one go from playing Mary Jenkins on 227 to sharing creative space with the dog father himself? Tell us. How did this happen? How did you end up working with Snoop Dogg?
With Snoop Dogg?
Yeah.
I don't know. You know, my grandson would come to me. He said, Snoop sent you a shout out. He said, how come we honor Betty White? We don't honor Marla Gibbs that way. I said, he did.
Yes.
And then Jamie Foxx came up and said he agreed.
Mm-hmm.
And
Who called you up, Jamie Foxx?
I didn't even know they knew who I was. So
what is this work you did with Snoop? It was Bromates, right? What did you produce with? What did you work on with Snoop Dogg? Was it bromades? You were in a collaboration with Snoop Dogg. What did you do with him?
We finally met when I got the star on Hollywood Boulevard.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And Snoop wanted me to come to a show he was in. So I said, of course. I almost fainted when I was getting the star. Not because it was hot, but it's just, people were saying, I love you, and it just got overwhelming. And so my daughter said, Mama, they're telling me they think you had a mini stroke. They want you to go to the hospital. I said, okay. So I went to the hospital. I didn't have a mini stroke. But while I was in the hospital, they decided they wanted me to have a colonoscopy. So I did, and they found something. So I agreed to the surgery. We had the surgery, and everything turned out fine. And I said, now, I have a job with Snoop Dogg. So I got to get out of this hospital. So I said, I'm not going to miss my job.
That's right. That's right.
I got out, and we did it. And, of course, they had me bringing all the weed.
Right. That was the very next question I was going to ask, a true or false, but you've already proven it. We've all heard that Snoop Dogg tried to get you to try something really good, and we know what that really good is. So we're not even gonna pick that back up. What I want to do in the remaining time, I want Wilmington to understand some of the awards and career highs that you have had over your stardom path, and that includes 5 Emmy nominations for Outstanding Supportive Actress, a Golden Globe for Best Supporting Actress in a TV Series for The Jeffersons, multiple NAACP awards for Outstanding Lead Actress in a Comedy Series, TV Land Awards, Hollywood Walk of Fame. They don't just give those stars away. Induction into the Black Filmmakers Hall of Fame, Heart of Gold Lifetime Achievement Award by CFB Foundation, and the list is endless, but our time is not. So I want you to recognize the star that we have before us. Miss Marla, do you have any pinch me moments when you just pause to take it on, just to take it all in? When you reflect on all that you have done and all the hardware that you have received?
No, it's always a surprise to me because I never see myself as others do. I just want to do a good job when I'm doing it, and then when it's over, it's over.
Okay.
But so it's always a joy to me that people really enjoy what I do or what I did. And I appreciate you so much. This is my first time in Delaware. And I love it. And I'm sure Ernie loves it too, right?
Oh, me? Okay. Yes, I love it. This is my first time as well. And you guys are so welcoming. Thank you.
And we were wondering, our flight was going to Philadelphia. Well, is there a stop before we get to Wilmington? And then when they sent the information, we were still going to Philadelphia. And then Calvin, the one who hosts all this for us, told us that it was a half-hour drive from the airport to Wilmington. I said, really? So he said, well, okay. And when I came here, the drive was like being in California and going to the valley. Just driving. It wasn't no big thing. I couldn't believe Wilmington was that close to Philly. I had been to Philly before. But now I've been to Wilmington.
Me too.
So we would like to close. The governor of Delaware has issued a proclamation to honor you. So I'd like to read that really quick.
Oh, that's awesome.
On behalf of Delawareans across the first state, Governor Carney and Lieutenant Governor Hall Long are proud to recognize Marla Gibbs for her countless contributions to the arts and humanities. Throughout her distinguished career, Ms. Gibbs has been a source of inspiration for future generations of performers, whether it be her role as Florence Johnson, the Jeffersons, or through her captivating singing voice. Ms. Gibbs has always told a story through her flawless performances. Ms. Gibbs' career spans 7 decades, a testament to her work ethic and talent on the global stage. Outside of her professional career, Ms. Gibbs continues to foster positive change in our communities through advocacy. This tribute brings with sincere gratitude for her continued contributions to the arts and humanities and best wishes for the future. Presented on the 13th day of November, 2024 by the order of the Governor, John C. Carney.
You still know all your lines.
So, ladies and gentlemen, Marla Gibbs, Ernest Hayden, Rhonda Crowder.
And ladies and gents, once again, I want to give credit to the Wilmington Library YouTube channel. The link is going to be available for you right here, and you can check all the work they have. That's my second video that I use from them to this podcast. And I have to say, ladies and gents, I'm trying to find some videos related to the people that are still alive. You know, they contribute to the African American history, and also for the American society on the arts or anything they contribute to society in general. Could be arts, any type of technology, engineer, whatever, But sometimes, like, I have 2 other videos I want to play, but it's related to PBS, and the PBS is a little bit of pain in the butt because I asked them for authorization to use but they do not respond yet. So I have one video that the Wilmington massacre that I used, I believe, was last year, and then they end up blocking my video. So I'm gotta be very specific related to they use. I asked for the permission, but they did not respond yet. So I'm waiting. Meanwhile, I'm looking for maybe a place. I'm going to hold the Wilmington Library to see what they got that I can use it, and I always give credit to those videos for the people that I use the videos. I always give credits, So, but talk about Miss Marla Gibbs, ladies and gents. Of course, is a giant on African American history of the work she did, and to me, she always gonna be Florence from the Jeffersons, dear to my heart. I watched the Jeffersons, when it came to America, and I still watch it sometime now and then. So, I don't have nothing. Look, sometimes to flip the channel, there's nothing to do. All this, you know what? Let me watch an episode of the Jeffersons, because everything that happened back in why they were running the show is still apply on today's society. Ladies and gents. So, and we always cannot forget that we are standing on the shoulders of the previous generations. And I'm still lucky to have her alive, and nowadays, So, this to me, Black History Month is a month of reflection. But like I say, for maybe all the parts of society or the groups, they just think and pay attention on this month. But for us, they are Black. This is Black History Month every month. because as long as you're alive, you're dealing with still all the shenanigans that come that you have to deal with. You're still dealing with in America. We are still not full member of society. The much contribution they have done, for all the sacrifice the black people has done to this country, we still not give the kudos and everything that we deserve. Ladies and so I'm looking for more other videos that I can use, and I hope they're going to respond to my request to use their videos, because the two videos I have are very, very good, related to people from the past that contribute a lot. So on this note, ladies and gents, I hope you enjoyed this video. Click on the like button, subscribe, share this video with at least 5 people you know. That's awesome. Now, because a lot of people do not know about this video, so let the people know, share it, and let's watch this video, because she deserves all the flowers that we can give to Miss Marla Gibbs. All right, so please be safe, be kind, and be blessed, and do the best what you can do with what you got. Salute. And I see you next Saturday, another episode celebrating Black History Month.